Hey guys, back again with Caleb Bakes 01, and today is, I believe, episode 10 of my random horror reviews. I know it's nothing really special, but I feel like it's a good little milestone for myself. I'm pretty happy with that. It's been a little while since we've done a random horror review, because I just took a little break from content in general, but also, there's just been a bit of a gap since the last episode. Um, I'm excited to get back into it. And for today's review, I decided to revisit safe to say, a modern classic from the year 2013. My girlfriend wanted to watch this movie. She had never seen it before. I'd seen it plenty of times, but, you know, just pull out any horror movie and I'm down to watch it pretty much. So it is The Conjuring. As I said, a modern classic. I feel like every man and their dog has seen this movie pretty much, but we'll quickly get into the plot just in case. Based on the real-life paranormal investigations of Ed and Lorraine Warren, played by Patrick Wilson and I always butcher her last name, Vera. I probably butchered her first name too, but Vera Farmiga. They play Ed and Lorraine Warren, and it's based on one of their paranormal investigations of this family who moved into this new house, and you deal with demons and possession, and I'm sure everyone's heard of this movie. I don't want to get too much into the storyline because it's safe to say that a lot of people have seen this one. Directed by James Wan, who I think is a master of horror, honestly. I don't think he has to really, put up much of a fight for that title anymore. Since Saw, constantly he has put out really good horror movies. Even his non-horror stuff is still pretty good, but safe to say, I think he is a horror master. I don't know what we're all waiting for, because he constantly delivers, and I feel like this is probably his biggest film up there with, as I said, with like Saw or even the sequel, Conjuring 2. So before we get into my thoughts on the movie, I remember when this film came out, this was one of the most hyped films that I'd seen in my lifetime, and I don't even know the word for it, best advertising for a horror movie in my lifetime. I'd say the top three that I'd seen with my own eyes was The Conjuring, the It remake, and probably Paranormal Activity. The marketing and hype for those movies were through the roof. It was crazy. I guess along the lines of Blair Witch, but I didn't include the marketing for Blair Witch because I wasn't born when that movie came out. But I always like hearing about how crazy the marketing was and how everyone thought that was real. But I'm getting off topic. The Conjuring, when the trailer dropped for this movie, I just remember in school, just anywhere I went, just with other people around, everyone just seemed to be talking about this movie, and it hadn't even come out yet. And then when it did come out, it just kept momentum. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was just flexing on their friends and showing off, I watched The Conjuring, I wasn't even scared, or some people were saying it was the scariest thing out. And everywhere I went, just people were so excited to watch it or, rewatching it. It was honestly like crazy how big this movie was when it came out. And as I said, 2013, it's got some years under its belt now for being out and around, but I feel like this is definitely a modern classic, and in the future just will be a classic. We look back on plenty of films like The Exorcist and all that, and from the past, and they are classics. Just give The Conjuring time, maybe a little bit more than, what is it, now 13, I'm doing the math, 9 years, more than 9 years under its belt, and it will be a classic of the horror genre. But anyway, let's get into my thoughts on the film. I pretty much just sucked this movie off during this whole intro. I really do enjoy this movie, but the thing is, one of my least favourite subgenres in horror is demonic possession, haunted house sort of films. because I just feel like they're all much of the same. If you've seen one, you've seen 10. You rarely come along and find a film that does it completely different. And The Conjuring doesn't do it completely different. That's what I'm saying. It's nothing that we haven't seen before from, a demon possession movie. But what sets it apart is James Wan's direction as director and the cast. Because the cast are amazing. We have a pretty big cast. We don't just have the two leads, Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. I got to stop trying to say her last name. But, you get like this family of 7 or 8. A lot of kid actors. They do great. You have people come in and out of the house, more so secondary characters, but everyone does their job. But as I said, the high point for this movie is James Wan's direction. He just knows how to do a good story. As I said, it's stuff that we've seen before, but just the way he writes his characters into it, how he directs the situations and the scenes and the shots, and, no real cheap jump scares. I've seen this movie plenty of times. I'd safely say over 5, almost 10, I reckon. Just purely because everyone was watching it so much. And I know what happens in this movie, and still sometimes I get butterflies in my stomach when I can feel the suspense building and something's coming up. And that just, as I said, it all falls to James Wan. This movie is amazingly directed, and that's what just makes it so likable. We know how these movies work. House is haunted. Family is having, trouble with these demons, and people are getting possessed, and normally a paranormal investigator or a psychic comes into the house. We've seen it all before. A priest, I don't know. It's always something along those lines. This movie follows the guidelines, but it's just done so well. And, I don't really have much else to add to it, really. Because it really is such a good movie, and, as much as I said it's my least favourite subgenre and everything, it's done well. And I think the high point of this movie is just James Wan's direction, and just how he does the scenes and writes the characters, and you got to give props to that. So my rating for this movie, honestly, I feel like people are going to think it's kind of low, but I do my ratings on just my personal feeling of the movie, and I'm going to give The Conjuring an 8 out of 10, really close to an 8.5, but I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It is solid for the subgenre. It is one of my favourite, haunted house, demon possession type movies, but I feel like 8 out of 10 is, a safe rating for me. It really is close to an 8.5. It could go there over time. I don't know. I might find this new love for it over time, but for now, as I said, it's definitely a modern classic. Will be a future classic and staple of the horror genre. So it's definitely going to have that under its belt, but I'll leave it there. I think the highlight of this movie is just one, how he does the story, the characters, and definitely one to watch if you just, as again, somehow haven't seen it. But The Conjuring, an 8 out of 10, I'll leave it there. And thank you guys who keep coming back to my videos. I think now I'm at 10 subscribers. Random Horror Review 10 subscribers, I don't know, maybe that's a cool connection, but I'm just appreciating everyone who's coming back to my videos and, just supporting my channel. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys very soon for some more content. Thanks.